1,500 meters. General Hawthorne called it the legend shot, and his weathered face showed exactly what he thought of the rookie standing at the firing line. No one makes that distance on their first try. Private. Hell, most don't make it on their 100th. The assembled marksmen behind them shifted uncomfortably, a mix of seasoned Marines and Army sharpshooters who'd been training at Fort Braxton for years. Someone muttered under their breath, "Kid's about to learn real quick what failure tastes like." Private Elena Vasquez adjusted her grip on the M24 rifle, feeling the weight of 17 skeptical stares boring into her back. The target downrange looked like a pinprick against the North Carolina hills, barely visible even through the scope. General Hawthorne had made the challenge clear. One shot, the distance that separated competent shooters from legends. The kind of shot that built reputations or destroyed them entirely. Before we dive deeper into this moment, drop a comment and let us know what state you're watching from. Maybe you've witnessed similar tests of courage in your area, where someone had to prove themselves against impossible odds. Sergeant Rodriguez leaned against the concrete barrier, arms crossed over his chest. $20 says she doesn't even hit the hillside, he whispered to Corporal Manning beside him. Manning nodded, already reaching for his wallet. The betting had started before Elena even picked up the rifle, growing more confident with each passing minute. Master Sergeant Shun stood near the spotting scope, his expression neutral, but his posture suggesting he was prepared to call a miss and move on to more serious business. The morning sun cast long shadows across the range, highlighting every detail of the moment. Elena could smell the gun oil and cleaning solvent that permeated the firing line, mixed with the faint scent of pine from the surrounding forest. The concrete beneath her boots felt solid and reassuring, but everything else seemed designed to remind her of the impossibility ahead. General Hawthorne had positioned himself directly in her line of sight, clipboard in hand, clearly expecting to document another failed attempt at military legend. "We've had 3 Marines try this shot this month," the general continued, his voice carrying across the range with practiced authority. "All combat veterans, all expert marksmen, all missed by significant margins." He paused, letting the weight of those failures settle over the assembled group. The washout rate on attempts like this runs about 97% private, even among our most experienced shooters. Elena felt the scope's eyepiece cool against her cheek as she settled into position. The rifle felt familiar in her hands despite the skeptical energy surrounding her. Through the scope, the distant target wavered slightly in the morning heat, a small black circle that seemed to mock every prediction of failure echoing behind her. 1,700 meters of North Carolina landscape stretched between her and a reputation she hadn't asked for but suddenly needed to earn. Staff Sergeant Williams approached the firing line, stopping close enough that his voice would carry to the other observers. "You understand what you're attempting here, don't you, Private? This isn't some basic qualification course. This is the shot that sorts the real snipers from the wannabes." His tone carried decades of military experience and absolute certainty about the outcome ahead. The wind picked up slightly, rustling through the oak trees that lined the eastern edge of the range. Elena watched the flags downrange flutter and shift, calculating wind speed and direction with the automatic precision of someone who'd been reading environmental conditions since childhood. The other marksmen continued their quiet commentary, their voices mixing with the sound of distant artillery training from another part of the base. General Hawthorne checked his watch with obvious impatience. "We'll give you 5 minutes to prepare, Private. Take your time, get comfortable, make whatever adjustments you need." His words carried the tone of someone offering a condemned prisoner a final meal. "When you're ready, you'll have one shot, one opportunity to join a very exclusive club or wash out like everyone expects." The exclusive club. Elena had heard about it during her first week at Fort Braxton. Names carved into a wooden plaque in the armory. Marksmen who'd made shots that defied logic and physics. Legends who'd earned their place through impossible accuracy under pressure. The kind of shooting that existed more in stories than reality, according to most of the instructors she'd encountered. Behind her, the betting pool had grown more elaborate. Corporal Davidson was offering 3-to-1 odds against even hitting the target area. Private First Class Torres had suggested a side bet on whether the shot would land within 50 meters of the intended mark. The conversation had the casual cruelty of soldiers who'd seen enough failed attempts to consider the outcome foregone conclusion. Elena's breathing steadied as she aligned the crosshairs with the distant target. The rifle settled into the natural pocket between her shoulder and cheek, finding the balance point that felt like coming home. Through the scope, the world narrowed to wind patterns, target alignment, and the steady rhythm of her heartbeat. Everything else faded into background noise, including the continued predictions of failure from the gallery of experts behind her. The silence stretched across the range as Elena maintained her position, crosshairs steady on the distant target. General Hawthorne shifted his weight, clearly expecting her to take the shot and end this display quickly. Instead, she remained motionless, reading wind patterns with the patience of someone who understood that rushing led to missing. "That's a lot of thinking for what's about to be a clean miss," Sergeant Rodriguez muttered, loud enough for several marksmen to hear. Corporal Manning chuckled and shook his head. "Kids probably never even attempted anything past 800 meters. This is going to be educational for everyone involved." Master Sergeant Chun approached the spotting scope, adjusting the focus with practiced efficiency. He'd been calling shots at Fort Braxton for 12 years, documenting hundreds of attempts at legendary distances. His expression remained professionally neutral, but his posture suggested he was settling in to witness another predictable failure. The scope would give him a perfect view of wherever Elena's shot landed, assuming it landed anywhere near the target area. Elena could hear every whispered prediction, every quiet assessment of her inexperience and inevitable failure. The words floated across the range like smoke, mixing with the morning air and settling around her position. She'd learned long ago to let skepticism fuel her focus rather than distract from it. The doubt behind her was becoming ammunition for what lay ahead. Private First Class Torres leaned against the equipment shed, arms crossed in a pose that suggested boredom rather than anticipation. "How long do we give her before calling this a waste of range time?" he asked Staff Sergeant Williams. Williams checked his watch and shrugged. "Protocol says 5 minutes to prepare. She's used 3. Figure another minute of aiming at nothing. Then we move on to actual training." The morning heat was beginning to build, creating shimmer patterns downrange that would complicate the shot even further. Elena watched the mirage dance through her scope, calculating how the rising air would affect bullet trajectory over 1,500 meters of North Carolina landscape. The thermal currents were subtle but measurable, adding another layer of complexity to what everyone already considered impossible. General Hawthorne cleared his throat impatiently. "Private Vasquez, are you planning to engage the target sometime this morning? We have a full training schedule to maintain." His clipboard remained ready to document another failed legend attempt, another name that wouldn't be added to the armory plaque. The washout rate spoke for itself. 97% failure among expert marksmen meant virtual certainty when dealing with untested rookies. Behind the firing line, Corporal Davidson had expanded his betting pool to include margin of error predictions. 50 meters left of target was getting decent odds. 100 meters short was considered conservative money. A few optimists were betting on actual target contact, but those wagers carried long odds and skeptical laughter from more experienced observers. Elena's breathing had settled into the rhythm that preceded precision shooting. Each exhale brought deeper focus, narrowing her world to crosshairs and target alignment. The rifle felt like an extension of her nervous system, responding to minute adjustments with mechanical precision. Through the scope, she could see heat waves beginning to distort the distant target, creating the kind of atmospheric interference that made legendary shots even more challenging. The assembled marksmen continued their quiet commentary, voices mixing military experience with casual cruelty. Sergeant Rodriguez was explaining to a newer arrival why rookie attempts at legend distances were traditionally entertainment rather than serious marksmanship. "The kid doesn't understand what she's facing," He said with the confidence of someone who'd witnessed dozens of similar failures. 1,500 meters isn't about skill at her level. It's about physics and experience she simply doesn't possess. Master Sergeant Chun made final adjustments to the spotting scope, ensuring perfect clarity for whatever was about to unfold. His job was documentation, not encouragement. 12 years of calling shots had taught him to recognize the difference between confident marksmen and hopeful amateurs. Body language, breathing patterns, equipment handling all provided clues about likely outcomes. Elena's stillness suggested focus, but focus without experience typically produced expensive misses. Staff Sergeant Williams approached General Hawthorne's position, close enough for private conversation. "Sir, should we consider moving to alternative training exercises? The morning schedule includes close-quarters marksmanship for the newer personnel. Time spent on impossible shots might be better invested in achievable skill development." Hawthorne nodded thoughtfully, but gestured toward Elena's position. "Give her the full 5 minutes, Sergeant. Protocol is protocol, even for foregone conclusions." The wind shifted slightly, flags downrange fluttering with increased intensity. Elena made microscopic adjustments to her aim, compensating for atmospheric changes that most observers couldn't even detect. Her understanding of environmental factors seemed to extend beyond basic training, suggesting background knowledge that hadn't appeared in her service record. The skeptical marksman behind her remained focused on statistical probability rather than individual capability. Through the scope, the target appeared sharp and clear despite the distance. Elena had found the natural respiratory pause that preceded her most accurate shooting, the moment when heartbeat and breathing aligned for maximum stability. The rifle settled into perfect position, crosshairs locked on target center with unwavering precision. Everything was ready except the final decision to prove 1,500 meters wasn't impossible for someone they'd already written off. 4 minutes had elapsed since General Hawthorne issued his challenge, and Elena remained motionless behind the rifle. The assembled marksmen were growing restless, their initial amusement giving way to impatience and increased skepticism. Corporal Manning checked his watch and shook his head with obvious frustration. "She's burning daylight," he muttered to anyone within earshot. "Either take the shot or admit it's beyond your capability." Master Sergeant Chun had seen this pattern before during his 12 years at Fort Braxton. Inexperienced shooters often froze when confronted with distances that exceeded their training. The psychological pressure of attempting legendary shots could paralyze even competent marksmen, reducing them to hesitant amateurs who second-guessed every environmental factor. Through his spotting scope, he watched Elena's position for signs of the uncertainty that typically preceded withdrawal requests. Private Torres had grown bold enough to voice his assessment more loudly. $20 says she asks for a closer target within the next 60 seconds. Staff Sergeant Williams considered the wager, but shook his head. More likely she'll claim equipment malfunction or request different ammunition. Rookie shooters always find external factors to blame when reality exceeds their capabilities. The morning sun climbed higher, intensifying the heat shimmer that danced between the firing line and distant target. Elena watched the mirage patterns through her scope, noting how thermal currents created optical distortions that would challenge even experienced marksmen. The environmental conditions were deteriorating with each passing minute, adding complexity to what everyone already considered impossible for someone of her apparent skill level. General Hawthorne approached Elena's position, his boots scraping against concrete as he positioned himself close enough for direct conversation. "Private, you've had adequate preparation time. The range schedule demands we maintain forward momentum. Either engage the target or step back so we can proceed with achievable training objectives." His tone carried decades of military authority and absolute certainty about the outcome awaiting them. Behind a firing line, Sergeant Rodriguez had begun explaining legendary shot statistics to newer personnel. The record holder took 17 attempts before succeeding, he said with the confidence of someone reciting established facts. Most marksmen never achieve the distance regardless of attempts. The kid up there's facing mathematical impossibility disguised as a shooting challenge. Elena's breathing remained steady despite the mounting pressure from observers who expected immediate failure. Through the scope, she could see dust devils forming in the valley between her position and the target, creating additional atmospheric disturbance that would affect bullet trajectory. The conditions were becoming more challenging by the minute, but her focus remained locked on the distant black circle that represented vindication or humiliation. Corporal Davidson had expanded his betting pool to include specific failure predictions. Clean miss was getting even odds. Hitting the hillside 50 meters left of target carried 3-10 payouts. A few optimistic bets suggested she might achieve target proximity, but those wagers drew skeptical laughter from marksmen who understood the physics involved in 1,500-meter shooting. The wind flags downrange showed increasing variability, gusting from different directions as morning thermal patterns established themselves across the North Carolina landscape. Elena made minute adjustments to her rifle position, compensating for atmospheric changes that most observers couldn't detect. Her environmental awareness seemed to exceed basic training parameters, suggesting background knowledge that hadn't appeared in her official records. Master Sergeant Chun announced the time remaining with professional detachment. 1 minute private. Complete your shot preparation or request alternative training. His voice carried across the range with the authority of someone who documented hundreds of similar attempts. The spotting scope remained focused on the target area, ready to call whatever impact occurred downrange. Staff Sergeant Williams positioned himself near General Hawthorne, preparing for the post-shot discussion that would inevitably follow Elena's failure. The morning training schedule included close-quarters marksmanship and equipment maintenance that couldn't be delayed indefinitely. Time spent on impossible shots represented training inefficiency, regardless of individual determination or preparation quality. Elena could hear every whispered assessment, every quiet prediction of failure echoing across the firing line. The skepticism had evolved from casual doubt to confident certainty, with seasoned marksmen openly discussing her inexperience and the mathematical impossibility of rookie success at legendary distances. Their voices provided a soundtrack of dismissal that she'd learned to transform into motivation rather than distraction. Through her scope, the target remained clear despite increasing atmospheric interference. Heat shimmer created vertical distortions that would complicate range estimation for less experienced shooters. Wind patterns showed the complexity that separated competent marksmen from legends. Environmental factors were aligning to create maximum difficulty for what everyone already considered an exercise in futility. General Hawthorne cleared his throat with obvious impatience. 30 seconds, Private Vasquez. The range waits for no one, regardless of personal ambition or determination. His clipboard remained ready to document another failed legend attempt. Another confirmation that 1,500-meter shooting belonged to elite marksmen rather than untested rookies who overestimated their capabilities. The assembled marksmen fell silent, finally ready to witness the inevitable conclusion of Elena's extended preparation. 17 pairs of eyes focused on her position, waiting for the shot that would end this display and confirm their collective assessment of her limitations. The moment of truth approached with the weight of unanimous skepticism and statistical certainty. 10 seconds remaining. General Hawthorne's announcement cut through the morning air with military precision, finalizing the pressure that had been building since Elena first approached the firing line. The assembled marksmen shifted into observation positions, their skeptical commentary giving way to focused attention on what they unanimously expected to be an expensive demonstration of overconfidence meeting reality. Elena's finger found the trigger with practiced ease, settling into the familiar curve of metal that separated intention from execution. Through her scope, the distant target wavered slightly in the thermal currents rising from the heated North Carolina landscape. 1,500 meters of atmosphere, wind patterns, and gravitational drop stood between her current position and the kind of shooting that built legends or destroyed reputations entirely. Master Sergeant Chun pressed his eye to the spotting scope, adjusting focus for maximum clarity on the target area. 12 years of documenting shots at Fort Braxton had taught him to recognize the moment when preparation transitioned to execution. His job was clinical observation and accurate reporting, regardless of personal opinions about rookie capabilities or statistical probability. The scope would show exactly where Elena's shot impacted, assuming it impacted anywhere near the intended target. Behind the firing line, Corporal Davidson held his breath despite the certainty of his betting pool predictions. Even foregone conclusions carried momentary suspense when expensive ammunition met impossible distances. Sergeant Rodriguez stood with arms crossed, his expression mixing professional interest with absolute confidence in the failure about to unfold. Private Torres had positioned himself for optimal viewing of what promised to be an educational demonstration of physics overcoming ambition. The wind flags downrange showed a momentary lull in atmospheric disturbance, creating a brief window of optimal conditions for long-distance shooting. Elena recognized the environmental opportunity and made final microscopic adjustments to her aim, compensating for factors that most observers couldn't detect. Her breathing settled into the natural pause that preceded her most accurate shooting, heartbeat and respiratory rhythm aligning for maximum stability. Staff Sergeant Williams watched Elena's shooting position with the analytical eye of someone who'd trained hundreds of marksmen. Her form appeared technically sound despite her apparent inexperience with legendary distances. Breathing control, rifle stability, trigger discipline all suggested competent basic training. However, competence at standard distances meant nothing when attempting shots that challenged the limits of equipment and atmospheric physics. General Hawthorne checked his stopwatch one final time. 5 seconds, private. Complete your attempt or step back from the firing line. His voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to decisive action and clear outcomes. The morning training schedule demanded forward momentum, regardless of individual determination or extended preparation rituals. Elena's extended aiming period had already consumed more time than most failed attempts required. Through her scope, Elena could see the target with crystalline clarity despite the distance and atmospheric interference. The black circle appeared steady and achievable, a destination that felt closer than the 1,500 meters of North Carolina landscape suggested. Her crosshairs locked onto target center with unwavering precision, creating the alignment that separated accurate shooting from expensive ammunition expenditure. The assembled marksmen fell into complete silence, their collective skepticism temporarily suspended by the gravity of the moment. 17 pairs of eyes focused on Elena's position, waiting for the inevitable conclusion of her extended preparation. The shot would either confirm their unanimous assessment of her limitations or force them to reconsider everything they believed about rookie capabilities and statistical probability. Elena's world narrowed to the essential elements of precision shooting. Wind speed, atmospheric pressure, gravitational compensation, and target alignment consumed her complete attention. The skeptical voices behind her faded into background noise, replaced by the mechanical precision of someone who understood that doubt could be silenced through undeniable demonstration rather than defensive argument. Master Sergeant Chen's spotting scope remained locked on the target area, ready to document whatever impact occurred downrange. His professional detachment couldn't entirely mask curiosity about Elena's extended preparation time. Most rookie attempts at legendary distances concluded quickly with obvious misses and immediate requests for closer targets. Her methodical approach suggested either unusual confidence or dangerous overestimation of personal capability. The morning sun had climbed high enough to create serious thermal interference, generating heat shimmer that would challenge even experienced long-distance marksmen. Elena watched the mirage patterns dance through her scope, calculating how rising air currents would affect bullet trajectory over 1,500 meters of increasingly heated atmosphere. The environmental conditions were deteriorating steadily, making legendary shots even more challenging for someone of her apparent experience level. General Hawthorne raised his hand in preparation for the final countdown. 3 seconds, Private Vasquez. 2 seconds. The moment of truth approached with mathematical inevitability, carrying the weight of unanimous skepticism and statistical certainty. Elena's finger applied steady pressure to the trigger, crossing the point of no return between preparation and execution. 1 second remained when Elena's breathing reached the natural pause that preceded perfect shooting. Her heartbeat aligned with respiratory rhythm, creating the physiological stability that enabled precision at impossible distances. The rifle settled into perfect position against her shoulder, crosshairs locked on target center with unwavering focus. Everything was ready for the shot that would either validate 1,500 meters of atmospheric physics or prove that legends could emerge from unexpected sources. The trigger brake came with mechanical precision, releasing the shot that would determine whether Elena joined the exclusive club of legendary marksmen or confirmed the statistical probability that had convinced 17 skeptical observers of her inevitable failure. The rifle's report echoed across Fort Braxton's range with sharp finality, cutting through morning air that suddenly felt charged with possibility. Elena maintained her shooting position, crosshairs still locked on the distant target as her shot traveled 1,500 meters of North Carolina atmosphere. Behind her, 17 skeptical observers held their breath despite their certainty about the outcome awaiting them all. Master Sergeant Chun pressed his eye against the spotting scope, tracking the bullet's trajectory across the valley that separated confidence from legend. Through the magnified optics, he watched for impact signs while calculating the time delay between shot and result. 12 years of documenting attempts at impossible distances had taught him to recognize the moment when physics met ambition, usually with predictable results. 3 seconds of flight time stretched into eternity for the assembled marksmen who'd spent the morning predicting Elena's failure with mathematical certainty. Sergeant Rodriguez shifted his weight uncomfortably, suddenly aware that his confident betting pool predictions might face unexpected challenges. Corporal Manning found himself leaning forward despite his absolute conviction that rookie attempts at legendary distances inevitably concluded with expensive misses. The silence on the firing line felt heavy with suspended judgment as Elena's shot covered the distance that separated competent marksmen from military legend. General Hawthorne stood motionless, clipboard ready to document another failed attempt at the exclusive club that claimed only the most elite shooters. His expression remained professionally neutral, but his posture suggested preparation for the inevitable confirmation of statistical probability. 4 seconds elapsed since the trigger brake, and Master Sergeant Chen's spotting scope remained focused on the target area with unwavering precision. The magnified view showed heat shimmer dancing across the black circle that represented Elena's destination, creating optical distortions that would challenge even experienced observers. His voice would carry across the range with clinical authority once impact occurred and assessment became possible. Behind a firing line, Private Torres found himself questioning the confidence he'd expressed throughout Elena's extended preparation period. Her methodical approach and technical proficiency had suggested capabilities that exceeded her apparent experience level. However, legendary shots required more than competent form and careful preparation. They demanded precision that defied atmospheric physics and gravitational mathematics. Elena remained motionless behind her rifle, breathing steady and controlled despite the weight of 17 skeptical stares focused on her position. Through her scope, she maintained visual contact with the distant target, watching for the impact that would either validate her preparation or confirm the unanimous predictions echoing behind her. The crosshairs stayed locked on target center with mechanical precision. 5 seconds had passed when Master Sergeant Chen's voice cut across the range with unexpected intensity. Impact. His single word carried implications that rippled through the assembled observers like electricity through copper wire. The spotting scope remained trained on the target area as he processed information that didn't align with his 12 years of documenting rookie failures at legendary distances. General Hawthorne stepped closer to Chin's position, his professional composure showing the first cracks of uncertainty. "What's the assessment, Master Sergeant?" Chin's eye remained pressed against the spotting scope, rechecking his observations with the methodical precision of someone whose credibility depended on accurate reporting. The magnified view showed details that challenged everything he'd expected from Elena's attempt. "Target contact," Chin announced with growing amazement in his voice. The words fell across the firing line like grenades among the assembled marksmen who'd spent the morning expressing absolute certainty about Elena's limitations. Sergeant Rodriguez felt his confident betting pool predictions crumble into expensive miscalculations. Corporal Davidson's elaborate wager system suddenly faced the kind of upset that redefined statistical possibility. Staff Sergeant Williams approached the spotting scope with quick steps, his expression mixing professional curiosity with personal disbelief. 12 years of training experience hadn't prepared him for rookie success at distances that challenged elite marksmen. "Target contact," he repeated, as if speaking the words aloud might clarify the impossible information reaching his ears. Elena finally lifted her head from the rifle scope, meeting the stunned expressions of 17 observers who were rapidly recalculating their assessments of her capabilities. The confident skepticism that had filled the morning air was giving way to something approaching professional respect, mixed with the kind of disbelief that accompanied witnessed impossibilities. Master Sergeant Chun continued his spotting scope assessment with increasing precision. "Center mass impact." His voice carried the clinical detachment of someone reporting facts that defied statistical probability. The magnified view showed impact evidence that would require detailed documentation and likely multiple confirmations before official recording. General Hawthorne's clipboard slipped from his fingers, clattering against concrete as he processed information that challenged his decades of military experience. His weathered face showed the kind of expression reserved for witnessing events that redefined established parameters. The morning had begun with predictable demonstrations of rookie limitations and evolved into something approaching legend. Behind the firing line, the assembled marksmen stood in various stages of shocked silence. Corporal Manning's confident predictions had evaporated into expensive humility. Private Torres faced the uncomfortable reality that his assessment of Elena's capabilities had been fundamentally flawed. The betting pools that had seemed like guaranteed income now represented lessons in underestimating unexpected talent. Elena rose from her shooting position with calm confidence, her movement carrying none of the uncertainty that typically followed difficult shots. The rifle remained steady in her hands as she faced the 17 pairs of eyes that were seeing her with completely transformed perspectives. The morning skepticism had been replaced by something approaching awe. Master Sergeant Chun lifted his head from the spotting scope and turned toward General Hawthorne with an expression that mixed professional duty with personal amazement. "Sir, the shot hit dead center. Perfect accuracy at 1,500 meters on first attempt." His words carried implications that would ripple through Fort Braxton's training programs and probably military marksmanship records. "Dead center." Master Sergeant Chin's confirmation echoed across the firing line with the weight of witnessed impossibility. His 12 years of documenting failed attempts at legendary distances had provided no framework for processing rookie success that defied atmospheric physics and statistical probability. The spotting scope showed impact evidence that would require multiple confirmations before official documentation became possible. General Hawthorne stood motionless beside his fallen clipboard, weathered face displaying the kind of expression reserved for events that redefined established military parameters. 1,500 meters on first attempt. The words formed in his mind, but refused to emerge as spoken language. Decades of training experience hadn't prepared him for witnessing rookie marksmanship that challenged the achievements of elite military shooters. Sergeant Rodriguez felt his confident betting pool predictions transform into expensive education about underestimating unknown capabilities. $20 had seemed like guaranteed income when wagered against rookie success at impossible distances. Now his certainty faced the uncomfortable reality of witnessed legend emerging from unexpected sources. The mathematical probability he'd quoted throughout the morning had been proven spectacularly wrong. Behind the firing line, Corporal Manning struggled to process information that contradicted everything he believed about marksmanship progression and skill development. His voice predictions about Elena's inevitable failure had been replaced by stunned silence that spoke louder than his earlier skepticism. The morning's entertainment had evolved into professional humility delivered through undeniable demonstration. Elena remained standing beside her rifle position, calm confidence radiating from her posture as 17 pairs of eyes recalibrated their assessments of her capabilities. The skeptical commentary that had filled the morning air had given way to speechless amazement that carried implications beyond immediate embarrassment. Her steady breathing and composed expression suggested someone accustomed to exceeding expectations rather than merely hoping for success. Staff Sergeant Williams approached Master Sergeant Chen's spotting scope with urgent steps, his professional curiosity demanding visual confirmation of the impossible report reaching his ears. Through the magnified optics, he could see the black target circle with a clean hole positioned exactly at center mass. The impact evidence was undeniable, challenging his understanding of rookie capabilities and training progression. Private Torres stood frozen in position, his earlier confident assessments of Elena's limitations crumbling into expensive miscalculations. The educational demonstration he'd anticipated witnessing had reversed roles entirely, teaching him about the dangers of underestimating unknown talent. His voice predictions about equipment malfunction and external excuses now seemed embarrassingly premature and fundamentally flawed. General Hawthorne finally retrieved his clipboard from the concrete, his movements carrying the careful precision of someone whose worldview had been significantly adjusted. The documentation forms he'd prepared for another failed legend attempt would instead record rookie achievement that belonged in military marksmanship history. His pen remained motionless as he struggled to find appropriate language for unprecedented success. Master Sergeant Chen continued his detailed assessment through the spotting scope, measuring impact precision with a clinical detachment that his position demanded. Center mass, dead on target, perfect execution under atmospheric conditions that would challenge experienced long-distance marksmen. His voice carried growing amazement despite professional training that emphasized emotional neutrality during range operations. The assembled marksmen began moving closer to Elena's position, their collective skepticism replaced by curiosity about someone who'd accomplished what they considered mathematically impossible. Corporal Davidson's elaborate betting system had collapsed into financial education about the dangers of absolute certainty. The odds he'd offered against target contact now seemed embarrassingly generous rather than conservatively realistic. Elena's rifle remained steady in her hands as she faced the transformed expressions surrounding her position. The morning had begun with unanimous doubt about her capabilities and evolved into witnessed legend that would ripple through Fort Braxton's training programs. Her calm acceptance of the successful shot suggested experience with exceeding expectations rather than surprise at achieving difficult goals. Staff Sergeant Williams lifted his head from the spotting scope and turned toward General Hawthorne with an expression mixing professional duty and personal disbelief. "Sir, confirmed center mass impact at 1,500 meters. First attempt, perfect conditions aside from thermal interference. The shot qualifies for legendary status according to established range protocols and historical precedent." Behind the firing line, the morning's confident skeptics faced the uncomfortable reality of witnessed impossibility. Their voiced certainty about Elena's limitations had been replaced by speechless recognition of capabilities that exceeded standard training parameters. The educational demonstration they'd anticipated had reversed completely, teaching them about underestimating unknown talent through expensive practical experience. General Hawthorne found his voice despite the implications confronting his understanding of rookie marksmanship progression. Private Vasquez, where did you learn to shoot like that? His question carried decades of military authority mixed with genuine curiosity about training background that hadn't appeared in official records. The morning's predictable demonstration had become investigation into unprecedented achievement. Elena's response would wait for the stunned silence to process the implications of her impossible success. The assembled marksmen stood in various stages of recalibration, their confident assessments transformed into professional respect delivered through undeniable demonstration. The exclusive club of legendary marksmen had gained a new member through first-attempt success that defied statistical probability. Master Sergeant Shun prepared for the detailed documentation that Elena's shot would require. 12 years of recording failed attempts had provided extensive experience with disappointment, but no framework for processing rookie legend. The forms he'd fill would record achievement that belonged in military history rather than routine training reports. The morning sun climbed higher above Fort Braxton's range, illuminating the moment when rookie determination had silenced 17 skeptical voices through precision that challenged atmospheric physics. Elena's calm confidence suggested someone who'd expected success rather than hoped for it, raising questions about training background that would demand immediate investigation. Elena set her rifle against the concrete barrier with practiced ease, her movements carrying the fluid precision of someone accustomed to handling military equipment under pressure. General Hawthorne's question hung in the morning air alongside the lingering echoes of impossible achievement. Where did you learn to shoot like that? The assembled marksmen waited for explanation that might restore their understanding of rookie capabilities and statistical probability. My father taught me, Elena replied with calm directness that suggested no desire for dramatic revelation or extended mystery. He believed accuracy was more important than speed, especially at distance. Her words carried the matter-of-fact tone of someone discussing fundamental truths rather than extraordinary accomplishments. The 17 skeptical observers processed information that began explaining witnessed impossibility through familiar military tradition. Staff Sergeant Williams stepped closer to Elena's position, his professional curiosity demanding additional details about training background that hadn't appeared in official records. What branch did your father serve in, Private? Elena's steady gaze met his question with the respect due his rank and genuine appreciation for military interest. Marine Corps Sniper, sir. 3 tours overseas, decorated marksman, retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. The assembled marksmen exchanged glances that mixed understanding with continued amazement at Elena's first-attempt success. Military lineage explained technical proficiency, but didn't diminish the achievement of legendary accuracy under pressure from 17 skeptical observers. Sergeant Rodriguez found his expensive betting pool losses slightly easier to accept when placed in context of inherited expertise rather than impossible rookie luck. General Hawthorne retrieved his pen and prepared to document information that would contextualize the morning's unprecedented events. Master Gunnery Sergeant who, Private? Elena's response carried the quiet pride of someone honoring family legacy through demonstrated excellence. Vasquez, sir. Manuel Vasquez. Retired 2 years ago after 24 years of active service. Master Sergeant Shun lifted his head from the spotting scope with an expression of dawning recognition. Manuel Vasquez. The name carried weight among military marksmanship communities, representing achievement that belonged in professional legend rather than casual conversation. His documented accuracy at extreme distances had influenced Marine Corps sniper training protocols and equipment specifications throughout his career. Elena continued with calm precision that suggested comfort, discussing family military history. He started teaching me when I was 12, sir. Basic fundamentals, safety protocols, respect for equipment and ammunition. We progressed to longer distances as my skills developed. By 16, I was consistently hitting targets at 1,200 meters under various atmospheric conditions. The assembled marksmen processed information that transformed Elena's morning achievement from impossible rookie luck into demonstrated family expertise passed through generations of military service. Corporal Manning's embarrassing predictions about equipment malfunction and external excuses now seemed doubly premature, directed against someone trained by documented military legend. Staff Sergeant Williams nodded with growing appreciation for training background that explained technical proficiency without diminishing personal achievement. Master Gunnery Sergeant Vasquez trained some of the finest marksmen in Marine Corps history. However, inherited instruction doesn't automatically translate to performance under pressure from skeptical observers expecting failure. Elena's slight smile suggested appreciation for the distinction between training and execution. My father emphasized mental preparation as much as technical skill, sir. He said accuracy under pressure separated competent shooters from legends. The morning's skepticism provided ideal conditions for demonstrating principles he taught through years of patient instruction. Behind a firing line, Private Torres faced the uncomfortable reality that his confident assessments had been directed against someone whose background exceeded his own training by significant margins. The educational demonstration he'd anticipated witnessing had indeed occurred, but with reversed roles that left him questioning his ability to evaluate unknown capabilities. General Hawthorne made detailed notes that would accompany official documentation of Elena's legendary shot. Manuel Vasquez's daughter. The connection explained witnessed impossibility while raising questions about why such significant background hadn't appeared in standard military records. Training by documented legend provided context for achievement that had redefined his understanding of rookie potential. Master Sergeant Chun continued his spotting scope assessment, documenting impact precision that would require verification by multiple observers before official recording. The shot's accuracy remained undeniable regardless of family background, representing achievement that belonged in Fort Braxton's permanent records. His 12 years of documenting failed attempts provided no previous example of first-attempt success at legendary distances. Elena's calm confidence throughout the morning's skepticism now appeared in different context, suggesting someone accustomed to exceeding expectations rather than hoping for success. Her methodical preparation and technical proficiency reflected training that extended beyond standard military instruction into specialized expertise passed through family tradition. The assembled marksmen began reassessing their morning's confident predictions through the lens of inherited expertise and professional legacy. Sergeant Rodriguez's betting pool had been wagered against someone trained by Marine Corps legend, making his financial losses seem less like bad luck and more like insufficient research into Elena's actual capabilities. Corporal Davidson approached Elena's position with questions about training methods that might improve his own long-distance accuracy. The morning's expensive education about underestimating unknown talent had evolved into opportunity for learning from demonstrated excellence. His elaborate betting system had collapsed, but professional curiosity about superior marksmanship remained strong. Staff Sergeant Williams considered the implications of Elena's background for Fort Braxton's training programs. Students with inherited expertise required different instruction approaches than standard recruits learning fundamental skills. Her presence represented opportunity for advanced marksmanship development that could benefit other personnel seeking legendary capability. Elena checked her rifle with the automatic precision of someone whose equipment handling reflected years of careful instruction. Her father's emphasis on respect for weapons and ammunition had become second nature, visible in every movement and adjustment. The morning's achievement represented validation of training principles passed through military generations. General Hawthorne closed his notebook and faced Elena with transformed perspective that mixed professional respect with personal curiosity about training that produced legendary accuracy on first attempt. Private Vasquez, your father's reputation precedes his instruction. However, Achieving his standards under pressure from skeptical observers demonstrates personal excellence that honors his legacy. The morning sun climbed higher above Fort Braxton, casting sharper shadows across the range where 17 skeptical marksmen were rapidly adjusting their understanding of Elena's capabilities. General Hawthorne's notebook contained details that would transform routine training documentation into historical record, but questions remained about why such significant background hadn't appeared in standard military processing. Master Sergeant Chun approached Elena's position with professional curiosity that extended beyond simple amazement at her legendary shot. "Private, your father's training obviously prepared you for extreme distance shooting. Why didn't this background appear in your initial marksmanship assessments?" Elena's response carried the straightforward honesty that had characterized her morning performance. "Sir, I was instructed to demonstrate standard qualification requirements without exceeding expected parameters for new personnel. My father emphasized the importance of meeting military expectations rather than showing off inherited advantages." Elena's explanation revealed deliberate restraint rather than hidden capabilities, suggesting someone who understood institutional protocols and professional development. Staff Sergeant Williams nodded with appreciation for approach that demonstrated maturity beyond typical rookie behavior. Many personnel with advanced backgrounds felt compelled to display superior skills immediately, often disrupting unit cohesion and training progression. Elena's methodical compliance with standard procedures showed respect for military hierarchy and institutional learning processes. Behind the firing line, Sergeant Rodriguez found his expensive betting pool losses easier to accept when viewed as education about institutional humility rather than personal failure. Elena had deliberately performed within expected parameters until challenged with legendary distance shooting. Her restraint demonstrated professional judgment that exceeded her apparent experience level. Corporal Manning approached with questions about training progression that might benefit his own marksmanship development. The morning's confident predictions about Elena's limitations had been replaced by curiosity about instruction methods that produced legendary accuracy through family tradition. His embarrassing assessment errors had evolved into learning opportunities about advanced technique. Elena continued her explanation with calm precision that reflected years of careful instruction about military protocol and professional behavior. "My father stressed that exceptional capability should be demonstrated when appropriate rather than displayed for personal recognition. This morning's challenge provided appropriate circumstances for showing inherited training rather than standard qualification performance." General Hawthorne made additional notes that would accompany his official report about Elena's achievement. Deliberate restraint followed by legendary performance under pressure demonstrated judgment that honored family military tradition while respecting institutional hierarchy. Her approach suggested someone trained for a long-term military career rather than immediate recognition. Master Sergeant Chun returned to his spotting scope for final documentation of Elena's shot precision. The impact evidence remained undeniably perfect despite atmospheric conditions that had challenged even his experienced observation skills. His 12 years of documenting range performance provided clear framework for recognizing achievement that belonged in permanent military records. Private Torres stood nearby, with expression mixing personal humility and professional respect for capabilities that exceeded his initial assessment by enormous margins. The morning's educational demonstration had indeed occurred, teaching him about the dangers of underestimating unknown backgrounds and inherited expertise. His confident predictions had been expensive lessons in evaluation accuracy. Elena's rifle handling continued displaying the automatic precision that reflected years of careful instruction and respect for military equipment. Her father's emphasis on weapon maintenance and ammunition conservation had become visible habits that distinguished inherited training from standard military instruction. Every movement demonstrated professional competence that extended beyond immediate marksmanship skills. Staff Sergeant Williams considered implications of Elena's background for advanced training opportunities that Fort Braxton could provide. Personnel with inherited expertise require different development approaches than standard recruits learning fundamental skills. Her presence represented potential for specialized instruction that could benefit entire marksmanship programs. The assembled marksmen began discussing Elena's achievement with transformed perspective that mixed professional amazement and personal curiosity about training methods that produced first-attempt success at legendary distances. Corporal Davidson's collapse bedding system had been replaced by genuine interest in instruction techniques that might improve his own long-distance accuracy. Elena answered questions about her father's teaching methods with detailed precision that revealed systematic approach to marksmanship development. He emphasized environmental awareness, atmospheric calculation, and mental preparation as much as technical shooting skills. Physical accuracy meant nothing without psychological preparation for performance under pressure from skeptical observers. General Hawthorne closed his documentation and faced Elena with professional respect that reflected transformed understanding of her capabilities and background. Private Vasquez, your demonstration this morning exceeded our expectations in ways that honor both your father's instruction and your personal application of inherited training. The achievement represents excellence that benefits our entire program. Behind the firing line, the morning's confident skeptics process lessons about underestimating unknown capabilities and inherited military expertise. Their voiced certainty about Elena's limitations had been replaced by witness legend that would influence their future assessments of personnel backgrounds and potential achievements. Master Sergeant Shun completed his detailed measurement of Elena's shot precision, confirming center mass impact that qualified for legendary status according to established range protocols. The documentation would require multiple signatures and verification procedures before official recording, but the achievement remained undeniably perfect regardless of administrative requirements. Elena's calm acceptance of morning recognition suggested someone accustomed to meeting high expectations rather than exceeding them through extraordinary effort. Her father's training had prepared her for legendary performance that appeared effortless despite representing years of systematic instruction and inherited military expertise. The assembled marksmen continued their reassessment of Elena's morning achievement, placing first-attempt success at impossible distances in context of family military tradition and professional legacy. Their expensive education about evaluation accuracy had evolved into appreciation for demonstration that redefined their understanding of rookie potential and inherited capability. Staff Sergeant Williams prepared for conversations with Training Command about advanced instruction opportunities that Elena's background suggested. Her presence at Fort Braxton represented potential for specialized marksmanship development that could elevate entire program standards through systematic application of inherited expertise and proven training methods. Word of Elena's legendary shot began spreading across Fort Braxton with a rapid efficiency that characterized military communication networks. Personnel from adjacent training areas had started gathering near the range perimeter, drawn by reports of rookie achievement that defied statistical probability and atmospheric physics. The morning's private demonstration was evolving into institutional event with implications beyond immediate marksmanship training. Colonel Patricia Thornfield approached the firing line with measured steps that reflected her position as Fort Braxton's advanced training commander. Reports of first-attempt success at 1,500 meters had reached her office within minutes of Master Sergeant Chen's confirmation. Such achievement demanded immediate investigation and potential integration into specialized marksmanship programs that could benefit from documented excellence. General Hawthorne provided preliminary briefing about Elena's background and morning performance, emphasizing inherited expertise and systematic family training that explained witnessed impossibility. Colonel Thornfield listened with professional attention that balanced institutional curiosity with practical considerations about advanced instruction opportunities that Elena's presence suggested. Elena remained standing beside her rifle position, calm confidence unchanged despite growing attention from military personnel who'd arrived to witness aftermath of legendary achievement. Her father's emphasis on professional composure under scrutiny had prepared her for moments when exceptional performance attracted institutional interest and potential career implications. Master Sergeant Chun continued documenting shot precision with detailed measurements that would accompany official reports about Elena's achievement. The impact evidence remained perfectly centered despite atmospheric conditions that had challenged his 12 years of observation experience. His documentation would require verification by multiple authorities before permanent recording became possible. Behind the original firing line, the assembled marksmen who'd witnessed Elena's impossible shot found themselves answering questions from newly arrived personnel seeking details about rookie success that challenged established training parameters. Sergeant Rodriguez described his expensive betting pool losses with rueful humor that acknowledged underestimating inherited expertise and family military tradition. Colonel Thornfield approached Elena's position with professional interest that extended beyond simple curiosity about exceptional marksmanship. Private Vasquez, your demonstration this morning suggests capabilities that exceed standard training progression. Have you considered advanced instruction opportunities that might develop your inherited expertise into institutional benefit? Elena's response reflected careful consideration of career implications that her father had prepared her to evaluate. Ma'am, I'm honored by your interest and committed to serving wherever my capabilities provide maximum benefit to military objectives. My father emphasized institutional service over personal recognition, but I'm prepared for specialized training if command considers it appropriate. Staff Sergeant Williams observed the interaction between Elena and Colonel Thornfield with appreciation for professional dialogue that balanced personal achievement with institutional needs. Elena's measured responses demonstrated maturity that complemented her exceptional marksmanship, suggesting someone prepared for advanced responsibilities and specialized assignments. The gathering crowd of military personnel continued growing as reports of legendary achievement spread throughout Fort Braxton's training facilities. Personnel from sniper programs, marksmanship instruction, and advanced combat training arrived seeking first-hand accounts of rookie success that redefined their understanding of inherited capability and family military tradition. Colonel Thornfield reviewed General Hawthorne's preliminary documentation with detailed attention to background information that explained Elena's exceptional performance. Master Gunnery Sergeant Manuel Vasquez's reputation provided context for witnessed achievement while raising questions about optimal development of inherited expertise through specialized institutional training. Elena answered additional questions about her father's instruction methods with precise detail that revealed systematic approach to marksmanship development extending beyond basic military training. Environmental awareness, atmospheric calculation, psychological preparation, and equipment maintenance had been integrated into comprehensive education that produced legendary accuracy through years of patient instruction. Private Torres stood among the original observers with transformed perspective that mixed personal humility and professional respect for capabilities that exceeded his assessment by significant margins. The morning's educational demonstration had taught him valuable lessons about evaluation accuracy and the dangers of underestimating unknown backgrounds. Master Sergeant Chun completed his detailed measurement protocols and prepared documentation that would accompany Elena's shot through verification procedures required for legendary achievement recognition. His 12 years of documenting range performance provided clear framework for processing accomplishment that belonged in permanent military marksmanship records. Colonel Thornfield discussed potential assignment options with General Hawthorne, considering specialized programs that could develop Elena's inherited expertise into institutional benefit. Advanced sniper training, marksmanship instruction, and specialized combat roles represented opportunities for maximizing capabilities that honored family tradition while serving military objectives. The assembled crowd processed information about Elena's background and achievement with growing appreciation for demonstration that combined inherited expertise with personal excellence under pressure. Her calm composure throughout mourning skepticism had evolved into institutional recognition that would influence career trajectory and training opportunities. Elena's rifle remained steady in her hands as she faced transformed attention from military personnel who recognized witness legend. Her father's training had prepared her for moments when exceptional performance attracted professional interest and potential advancement through specialized assignments that required extraordinary capability. Behind the original firing line, the morning's confident skeptics continued processing expensive lessons about underestimating inherited military expertise and family tradition. Their voiced certainty about Elena's limitations had been replaced by witnessed achievement that redefined evaluation standards and assessment accuracy. Staff Sergeant Williams considered implications of Elena's presence for Fort Braxton's overall training effectiveness. Personnel with inherited expertise provided opportunities for program development that could benefit entire marksmanship instruction through systematic application of proven methods and legendary family tradition. Colonel Thornfield concluded her preliminary assessment and prepared for detailed discussions about Elena's career development and specialized training opportunities. The morning's demonstration represented institutional opportunity that extended beyond individual achievement into program enhancement that could elevate Fort Braxton's marksmanship standards through inherited excellence. The gathering military personnel continued their amazed discussion of Elena's legendary shot, placing first attempt success at impossible distances in context of family tradition and professional legacy that honored military heritage while demonstrating personal excellence that demanded institutional recognition and career advancement. 3 hours after Elena's legendary shot, Fort Braxton's communication networks carried reports that reached military marksmanship communities across multiple installations. The achievement had transcended local training documentation to become institutional case study in inherited expertise and exceptional performance under pressure. Colonel Thornfield's preliminary assessment suggested implications that extended far beyond individual recognition. Elena found herself in the base commander's conference room, facing a panel of military officials whose collective experience represented decades of advanced marksmanship training and sniper program development. The morning's simple challenge had evolved into career-defining opportunity that would determine her path through specialized military assignments requiring extraordinary capability. Major General Rebecca Harrison presided over the assessment panel with authority that reflected her position as Regional Training Command Director. Her review of Elena's documentation and background information had raised questions about optimal development of inherited expertise through institutional channels that could maximize both individual potential and military effectiveness. Elena's responses to detailed questioning demonstrated maturity that complemented her exceptional marksmanship, suggesting someone prepared for responsibilities that exceeded standard military progression. Her father's emphasis on professional conduct and institutional service had prepared her for moments when exceptional capability attracted high-level attention and career implications. The panel included representatives from Marine Corps sniper programs who recognized Manuel Vasquez's legendary reputation and training methods. Their interest in Elena's inherited expertise reflected institutional understanding that family military tradition often produced capabilities that exceeded standard instruction through systematic application of proven techniques and specialized knowledge. Colonel Thornfield presented preliminary recommendations for Elena's advanced training trajectory, emphasizing specialized programs that could develop her inherited marksmanship into institutional benefit. The options included elite sniper training, marksmanship instruction roles, and specialized combat assignments that required legendary accuracy under extreme pressure and challenging environmental conditions. Elena listened to career possibilities with careful attention that balanced personal ambition with service commitment her father had emphasized throughout her training. Each option represented opportunity for maximizing capabilities while honoring family military tradition through systematic application of inherited expertise and demonstrated excellence. Major General Harrison reviewed documentation from Master Sergeant Chun and General Hawthorne, noting detailed descriptions of Elena's first attempt success at distances that challenged experienced marksmen. The achievement represented statistical anomaly that demanded investigation into training methods and inherited capabilities that produced legendary performance. The assembled officials discussed Elena's background with professional interest that extended beyond simple curiosity about exceptional achievement. Manuel Vasquez's documented accuracy and training innovations had influenced Marine Corps marksmanship programs throughout his career, making Elena's inherited expertise particularly valuable for institutional development and program enhancement. Elena answered questions about her father's instruction methods with precise detail that revealed systematic approach to marksmanship development, extending far beyond basic military training. Environmental calculation, psychological preparation, equipment optimization, and pressure performance had been integrated into comprehensive education that produced documented excellence. Private Torres and the other original observers had been interviewed separately about their witnessing of Elena's impossible shot. Their testimonies provided verification of achievement that supported official documentation and confirmed details about atmospheric conditions, target distance, and first attempt accuracy that challenged established statistical probability. Colonel Thornfield emphasized that Elena's demonstrated capability represented opportunity for advancing Fort Braxton's overall marksmanship effectiveness through specialized instruction and program development. Her inherited expertise could benefit entire training systems through systematic application of proven methods and family military tradition. The panel reviewed potential assignment locations that could optimize Elena's development while maximizing institutional benefit from her exceptional capabilities. Advanced training facilities, specialized combat units, and marksmanship instruction programs represented options that balanced individual career progression with military effectiveness requirements. Major General Harrison concluded preliminary assessment with recognition that Elena's achievement demanded careful consideration of optimal development trajectory. The morning's demonstration had revealed capabilities that exceeded standard military progression, requiring specialized handling that honored both inherited expertise and institutional needs. Elena's calm composure throughout the evaluation process reflected preparation her father had provided for moments when exceptional performance attracted high-level attention and career implications. Her measured responses demonstrated readiness for advanced responsibilities that would develop inherited marksmanship into maximum institutional benefit. The assembled officials recognized that Elena's presence represented rare opportunity for program enhancement through documented excellence and inherited military tradition. Her systematic training and demonstrated capability under pressure suggested potential for specialized assignments that required legendary accuracy and professional maturity. Colonel Thornfield prepared detailed recommendations that would accompany Elena's advancement through specialized training channels designed to maximize inherited expertise while maintaining institutional effectiveness. The career trajectory would honor family military tradition while developing capabilities that served broader marksmanship training objectives. Major General Harrison emphasized that Elena's achievement represented institutional opportunity that extended beyond individual recognition into program development that could elevate military marksmanship standards. Her inherited expertise and demonstrated excellence provided foundation for specialized assignments requiring extraordinary capability and professional judgment. The evaluation panel concluded with recognition that Elena's morning demonstration had revealed potential that demanded systematic development through specialized channels. Her family military tradition and exceptional performance under pressure suggested readiness for advanced assignments that would honor inherited expertise while maximizing institutional benefit. Elena departed the conference room with understanding that her legendary shot had initiated career trajectory that would develop inherited marksmanship in a specialized military service. The morning's challenge had evolved from simple demonstration into opportunity for honoring family tradition through systematic application of exceptional capability and professional excellence. The assembled officials continued their discussion of optimal development strategies that would maximize Elena's inherited expertise while advancing institutional marksmanship effectiveness. Her achievement represented case study in family military tradition that produced capabilities exceeding standard training through systematic instruction and inherited excellence. By evening, Elena's legendary shot had reached Marine Corps headquarters through official channels that carried implications extending far beyond Fort Braxton's training programs. The achievement represented statistical anomaly that demanded investigation into inherited military expertise and family tradition that produced capabilities exceeding standard institutional parameters through systematic instruction and proven methods. Elena received notification that her father had been contacted by Marine Corps Marksmanship Command for detailed consultation about training methods that produced first-attempt success at legendary distances. Manuel Vasquez's documented expertise and instruction innovations were being reviewed for potential integration into advanced sniper programs that could benefit from systematic application of proven techniques. The original 17 skeptical marksmen who'd witnessed Elena's impossible shot found themselves providing detailed testimony to military investigators, documenting exceptional achievement for permanent records. Their unanimous predictions of failure had been replaced by witnessed legend that challenged established understanding of rookie capabilities and inherited military tradition. Master Sergeant Chun completed comprehensive documentation that would accompany Elena's achievement through verification procedures required for legendary status recognition. His 12 years of range observation provided authoritative confirmation of first-attempt accuracy that belonged in permanent military marksmanship records alongside documented achievements of elite combat veterans and specialized training graduates. Colonel Thornfield prepared detailed recommendations for Elena's immediate advancement to specialized sniper training programs that could develop inherited expertise into maximum institutional benefit. The career trajectory would bypass standard progression timelines through recognition of demonstrated capability that exceeded typical military development requirements. Elena contacted her father to share news of the morning's achievement and subsequent institutional recognition that honored his systematic training and family military tradition. Manuel Vasquez expressed quiet pride in his daughter's demonstration of inherited expertise, while emphasizing continued commitment to professional service and institutional excellence rather than personal recognition. The assembled evaluation panel reconvened to finalize assignment recommendations that would optimize Elena's development while maximizing military effectiveness through specialized applications of legendary marksmanship capability. Advanced training facilities and elite combat units represented options that balanced individual career progression with institutional needs for extraordinary precision and proven performance. Major General Harrison reviewed comprehensive assessment reports that documented Elena's exceptional achievement alongside background information revealing systematic family training that produced capabilities through inherited military expertise. The evaluation suggested potential for specialized assignments requiring legendary accuracy under extreme pressure and challenging operational conditions. Private Torres and the other original observers received commendations for providing accurate testimony about witnessed impossible achievement that supported official documentation of Elena's legendary shot. Their expensive education about underestimating inherited capabilities had evolved into institutional recognition for maintaining professional integrity during exceptional circumstances. Elena's rifle remained secured in Fort Braxton's armory, with notation indicating its use in documented legendary achievement at 1,500 meters under challenging atmospheric conditions. The weapon would be preserved as historical artifact representing intersection of inherited expertise, systematic training, and exceptional performance under institutional pressure. Staff Sergeant Williams integrated lessons learned from Elena's demonstration into updated training protocols that emphasized careful evaluation of personnel backgrounds and inherited capabilities that might exceed apparent experience levels. The morning's education about assessment accuracy would influence future approaches to identifying exceptional potential among incoming military personnel. The evening briefing at Fort Braxton included detailed review of Elena's achievement and its implications for advanced marksmanship training programs. Her demonstration had provided case study in family military tradition that produced capabilities through systematic instruction and inherited expertise rather than institutional training alone. Colonel Thornfield received authorization for Elena's immediate transfer to Marine Corps Advanced Sniper Training Facility, where inherited expertise could be developed through specialized instruction designed for personnel with exceptional capabilities. The assignment represented optimal balance between individual development and institutional benefit through systematic application of proven methods. Elena prepared for departure from Fort Braxton with understanding that her legendary shot had initiated career trajectory honoring family military tradition while serving broader institutional objectives. Her father's emphasis on professional service and systematic excellence had prepared her for specialized assignments requiring extraordinary capability and mature judgment. The assembled military officials who'd evaluated Elena's achievement continued processing implications of inherited expertise and family tradition that produced legendary performance through systematic training. Her demonstration represented institutional opportunity for program enhancement through documented excellence and proven instruction methods. Major General Harrison finalized assignment orders that would advance Elena's career through specialized channels designed to maximize inherited marksmanship while maintaining institutional effectiveness. The trajectory honored family military tradition while developing capabilities that served broader training objectives and operational requirements. Elena's calm acceptance of career advancement reflected preparation her father had provided for moments when exceptional performance attracted high-level recognition and specialized assignment opportunities. Her measured responses throughout evaluation had demonstrated readiness for responsibilities that would develop inherited expertise into maximum institutional benefit. The original firing line where Elena had silenced 17 skeptical voices through impossible accuracy remained marked for historical documentation. The location would be preserved as a site of legendary achievement that challenged statistical probability and demonstrated power of inherited military expertise combined with systematic family training. Master Sergeant Chun completed final verification procedures that would establish Elena's shot among documented legendary achievements in military marksmanship history. The comprehensive documentation provided authoritative record of first attempt success that belonged alongside elite accomplishments of specialized combat veterans and advanced training graduates. Elena departed Fort Braxton with recognition that her morning demonstration had evolved from simple challenge into institutional case study in inherited excellence and family military tradition. The legendary shot had opened career trajectory that would honor systematic training while serving specialized military objectives requiring extraordinary precision and proven capability under pressure. 6 months later, Elena stood before a new group of military marksmen at Quantico's Advanced Sniper Training Facility, her instructor insignia reflecting the career trajectory that began with a single impossible shot at Fort Braxton. The morning's lesson focused on environmental calculation and pressure performance, techniques her father had taught her as she now passed to the next generation of elite military shooters. The students before her included seasoned combat veterans and specialized training graduates who approached legendary distance shooting with respect earned through expensive education about atmospheric physics and inherited expertise. None displayed the confident skepticism that had characterized Elena's original 17 observers, having learned through institutional channels about documented achievement that redefined rookie capability. Staff Sergeant Elena Vasquez maintained her father's emphasis on systematic instruction and professional humility while sharing techniques that produced legendary accuracy through inherited military tradition. Her teaching methods integrated environmental awareness, psychological preparation, and equipment optimization into comprehensive education that honored family legacy while serving institutional objectives. The advanced training facility displayed Elena's original target from Fort Braxton alongside documentation of her first attempt success at 1,500 meters under challenging atmospheric conditions. The preserved evidence served as inspiration for students attempting to achieve legendary status through systematic application of proven methods and inherited expertise. Elena's students practiced environmental calculation exercises that emphasized wind pattern recognition, thermal interference assessment, and atmosphere pressure compensation. These techniques reflected her father's systematic approach to marksmanship development that produced exceptional capability through years of patient instruction and inherited military tradition. Master Sergeant Shun had transferred to Quantico specifically to document advanced training achievements under Elena's instruction. His 12 years of range observation provided authoritative verification of student progress, while maintaining historical continuity with a legendary shot that initiated Elena's specialized career trajectory through exceptional demonstration and proven capability. The original 17 marksmen from Fort Braxton had become institutional legend themselves, known throughout military marksmanship communities as witnesses to impossible achievement that challenged statistical probability. Their expensive education about underestimating inherited capabilities had evolved into professional recognition for maintaining integrity during exceptional circumstances. Elena concluded her morning instruction with emphasis on mental preparation and pressure performance that separated competent marksmen from documented legends. Her father's teachings about professional composure and systematic excellence continued influencing military training through specialized application of inherited expertise and proven family tradition. During afternoon break, Elena received communication from her father expressing continued pride in her institutional service and systematic application of family military tradition through specialized instruction. Manuel Vasquez's training methods were being integrated into Marine Corps sniper programs through his daughter's demonstrated excellence and proven teaching capability. The students at Quantico represented diverse military backgrounds united by common pursuit of legendary marksmanship through systematic training and inherited expertise. Elena's instruction provided framework for achieving exceptional capability while maintaining professional humility and institutional service that honored military tradition. Colonel Thornfield visited Quantico regularly to observe Elena's teaching methods and student progress that validated recommendations for specialized career advancement. The decision to develop inherited expertise through institutional channels had produced optimal balance between individual achievement and military effectiveness through systematic application of proven techniques. Elena's evening review sessions emphasized environmental awareness and atmospheric calculation that enabled legendary accuracy under challenging operational conditions. These techniques reflected systematic instruction that produced exceptional capability through years of inherited military tradition and proven family methods integrated into institutional training programs. The preserved firing line marker at Fort Braxton continued attracting military personnel seeking inspiration from documented achievement that challenged established understanding of rookie potential. Elena's legendary shot remained institutional case study in inherited expertise and family tradition that produced capabilities exceeding standard training parameters. Major General Harrison regularly reviewed progress reports from Elena's advanced instruction program, noting exceptional student achievement rates that validated systematic development of inherited marksmanship through specialized institutional channels. The career trajectory had honored family military tradition while maximizing effectiveness through proven teaching methods. Elena maintained correspondence with original Fort Braxton observers who'd witnessed her impossible achievement, sharing continued appreciation for their professional integrity during exceptional circumstances. Their expensive education about assessment accuracy had influenced institutional approaches to identifying inherited capabilities among incoming military personnel. The legendary target from Elena's first attempt success remained displayed at Quantico alongside achievements of students who'd mastered systematic techniques through her specialized instruction. The evidence provided tangible connection between inherited family tradition and institutional excellence that honored military heritage while serving contemporary training objectives. Elena's systematic approach to marksmanship instruction continued producing exceptional student achievement through application of techniques her father had developed and she'd refined through specialized military service. The methods honored family legacy while advancing institutional capabilities through proven training innovations and inherited expertise. As evening approached at Quantico, Elena reflected on the journey from skeptical observations at Fort Braxton to specialized instruction that developed legendary marksmanship through systematic application of inherited military tradition. Her father's emphasis on professional service and institutional excellence had guided career trajectory that maximized individual capability while serving broader military objectives. The advanced training facility buzzed with student discussions about Elena's instruction methods and legendary achievement that initiated specialized career devoted to developing exceptional marksmanship through inherited expertise. Her demonstration had evolved from impossible shot in an institutional program that honored family tradition while producing documented excellence. If this story of inherited expertise and legendary achievement moved you, drop a comment about your favorite moment or character, or share if you've witnessed similar courage and skill in your own community. Perhaps you know someone whose family tradition produced exceptional capability that honored both personal legacy and professional service. Elena's legacy continued growing through systematic instruction that developed legendary marksmanship while honoring the military tradition her father had passed through years of patient teaching and inherited expertise that transformed skeptical observers into believers through undeniable demonstration of exceptional capability.